Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Monica and today we are going to practice our listening skills with Australian accent. The story of today is a mystery. So let's go, relax, focus on pronunciation and vocabulary, and I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. So every week you are going to have a new story with different accent to master your listening skills. So now yes, let's go and let's begin.
Emma arrived home after a long day at work, but something felt off. She reached into her bag for her keys, but they were gone. Strange, she murmured. She was sure she had them in the morning. She checked her pockets. Nothing. She emptied her bag on the doorstep. Still nothing. Then she remembered. At lunch, she had placed them on the cafe table while paying. Had she left them there? She hurried back, but the cafe was closed. A voice interrupted her thoughts. Looking for these? Emma turned around. Her neighbor, Mr. Jones, stood there, holding her keys. How did you? I saw someone pick them up after you left the cafe, he explained. I followed them, and when they dropped them near your building, I grabbed them for you. Emma sighed in relief. But one question remained. Who had taken them, and why had they dropped them near her home? Emma took the keys from Mr. Jones, but her hands trembled slightly. Who took them? She asked. Mr. Jones hesitated. I don't know, but I saw a man in a dark hoodie following you after you left the cafe. He picked up your keys and walked away quickly. I followed him, but he suddenly dropped them right outside your building and disappeared. Emma's stomach tightened. Someone had her keys but decided not to use them. Why? She unlocked her apartment cautiously. Everything seemed normal, until she noticed something odd. Her living room window, which she always kept closed, was slightly open. A chill ran down her spine. Had someone been inside? She checked her valuables. Nothing was missing. But on her kitchen counter, she found something that hadn't been there before, a single black chess piece. A knight. Her heart pounded. Someone had been inside her home. And they had left a message. Mr. Jones knocked on her door. Are you okay? Emma held up the chess piece. Does this mean anything to you? He frowned. A knight? That's strange. But I think I know someone who might understand. Emma took a deep breath. This mystery was far from over. Emma stared at the black chess piece in her hand. What did it mean? Who had left it? Mr. Jones scratched his head. There's a retired detective in the building, Mrs. Holloway. She might know something. Emma and Mr. Jones went up to the third floor and knocked on Mrs. Holloway's door. The elderly woman, sharp-eyed and curious, listened carefully as Emma explained everything: the missing keys, the stranger in the hoodie, the open window, and the knight piece. Mrs. Holloway's eyes darkened. A knight is a strategic piece in chess. It moves in an L shape, unexpectedly. This isn't random. Someone is sending you a message. Emma's pulse quickened. But why me? The old detective thought for a moment. Have you upset anyone recently? Emma shook her head. Not that I know of. Then, suddenly, she remembered something. A few weeks ago, she had found a lost wallet on the subway and turned it in. The owner, a man in a dark hoodie, had seemed nervous when she returned it. He barely thanked her before rushing away. At the time, she thought nothing of it. Mrs. Holloway nodded. It's possible the wallet contained something more than just money, maybe a secret or something valuable. If so, that man might have thought you saw it. Emma shivered. But I didn't. I never even opened it. Mr. Jones crossed his arms. He might have been watching you ever since, just to be sure. Emma took a deep breath. What do I do now? Mrs. Holloway smiled. You do nothing. Leave this to me. The next day, Emma received a message from Mrs. Holloway. It's over. You safe? She never learned exactly what the detective had done, but the man in the hoodie was never seen again. And Emma never left her keys unattended again. Days passed, then weeks, and Emma slowly forgot about the incident. Life returned to normal, but she always kept her doors locked and never left her keys unattended again. Years later, she ran into Mrs. Holloway at a local cafe. The retired detective, now older but still sharp, smiled knowingly. "I suppose you still wonder about that night?" Emma nodded. "I never understood why that man was after me, or why he disappeared." Mrs. Holloway took a sip of her tea and leaned in. "I never told you the full story. The truth is, I solved the case the very next day." Emma's heart raced. "How?" "I checked the security cameras at the subway station from the day you returned the wallet. I traced the man's face in the footage and found an old police report." Mrs. Holloway paused before saying, "The man you saw had been dead for more than 20 years. Emma froze. "What?" Mrs. Holloway nodded. "He died in an accident at that very subway station. He fell onto the tracks late at night and never made it out. Yet, somehow, you saw him, he took your keys, and he entered your home." Emma felt a chill run down her spine. "But, why?" The detective shrugged. "Some mysteries don't have answers, my dear. Maybe he was looking for something unfinished. Maybe he wanted help. Or maybe he was just playing one last game." Emma swallowed hard. The black chess knight. The open window. The missing keys. She never spoke of it again. But sometimes, late at night, she swore she could hear footsteps outside her door, soft, deliberate, and just one step ahead. The end.
Thank you so much for staying with us. And now the question of the day. Who was this guy and why he did what he did with Emma? Answer in the comments below. I will read all of them, and thank you so much for your time, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Have a great day and see you in our next story.